with a new concept called as Swing. Okay, Swing is also used for your Windows programming. So if Swing is used for your Windows programming, what about AWT? AWT was your abstract window toolkit which had components, and using those components you used to create your Windows application. But it had some limitations. Okay, now Swing was a package which was created by the developers of AWT themselves. They saw the shortcomings of AWT and they provided all the solutions in your new package, that is Swing. Okay, so Swing is, these days whenever you are creating any Windows application, you would go to a Swing framework rather than going to an AWT framework. Now let's see what are the advantages of Swing. How did it overcome the difficulties of AWT? Now earlier when we were coding ourselves, we saw that whenever you had a frame, okay, and you wanted to close that particular frame, okay, then you had to create an adapter class and you've got to implement all the methods in the adapter class so that when the person is clicking on the cross, you should be notified by that event and then you should be closing that particular frame. This was a bit of inconvenience thing. How nice it would have been if the frame would themselves had a method called as setClose. Okay, now using or seeing these difficulties which were there in the components, again the components which used to come with the AWT, they were the native components. Now what do you mean by native components? See, you have different operating system. You must be having your Mac, you must be having your Solaris, your Windows, your Linux. All these are different operating systems. Now whenever you have an application, okay, or the desktop screen of a Mac looks different than that of a Windows. The same application which is there in Windows, it would look different in your Linux or it would look different in your Mac machines. Why is that so? Because whenever you are having your operating systems, the button, the window, all these things are there in the operating system itself. So whenever you are using your AWT package, at that time whenever you say button B equal new button, if you want to use a button, which button would be used? The button which is there or which has come with the operating system. Whereas whenever you are talking about Swing, Swing is a framework which comes with its own classes or with its own package of components. Each Swing or each component which is there in the Swing package has come in the bundled up framework, which means if I am saying that I am going to use a button which is there from the Swing framework, okay, then that button would appear same in Mac, it would appear same in the Windows, it would appear same in the Linux. So all the components which are there in your Swing package are not native, but they are coming in bundled with the framework. Secondly, the second option which is this, the second option is there called as pluggable look and feel. This is a very interesting option. Now suppose you are a user and you have been using a Linux system for 10 years, okay, and suddenly and in the Linux system you are using one Windows application. Now when you are using a Windows application, the Linux look and feel is going to be there in the Windows application, but the close thing, the window and all that stuff. Now you migrate to, your company takes a decision and you want to migrate to your Windows operating system. Now there, since a user is used to the Mac machine, in order to operate into Windows, it would be slightly difficult. So what Swing is telling you? Swing is telling you, you guys don't worry about it. If you want, we are going to create an application which is going to have a look and feel. That means if I am creating an application and if I have the look and feel of Windows, then if this application is running on Linux also, it would not change its look and feel. Even if I am running my application on Linux, it would be appeared or it would appear as a Windows application itself. So that is why the look and feel, that is why the name is pluggable look and feel, which means the look and feel of Windows can be plugged and it can be attached or it can be put into the Macintosh systems or Linux systems, and you would feel that you're still operating on a Windows system. Okay, so you can create that kind of applications into Swing. The third part over here is accessibility, which means that this particular package of Swing, he says that we provide other people to use our package. Other people can. Mostly the users can use our Windows application, but people who are handicapped, okay, people who are blind, for them also we are creating these applications, or these applications are also available in Braille, so that even the blind people can access the Windows application which is onto the computers. So even that kind of support is given by the Swing people. The fourth is internationalization. It says that your entire Windows application can be coded in Hindi, Telugu, Marathi, French, German, Japanese, Chinese, in whatever language you want. My application or all my components do support internationalization. So these 4 to 5 important features which were not there in your AWT were included in your Swing, and then people said that instead of using your abstract window toolkit, please go for Swing. Swing is like an elder brother of AWT. It has all the functionality of AWT. It is just very similar to AWT. It's almost like everything, whatever you can do in AWT, everything you can do it in Swing. But vice versa is not possible, because Swing has got greater functionality than your AWT. Now again, just like your AWT, here also you have got 3 top level containers. What are 3 top level containers? Top level containers are nothing but components onto which you are going to put all your applications. In AWT it was called as frame, applet and dialog. Whereas when you're talking about your Swing package, it is called as JFrame, JApplet and JDialog. Everything remains the same, only but whenever you are using your Swing components, there would be a J which is appended to each and every class you use. Okay, so now whenever you're talking about your JFrame, which is the most commonly used class, because using this class you are going to create your Windows application. Now here your JFrame is split up into 2 halves. The top one is called as the menu bar, where you're going to set your menu. The second is the content pane. Earlier in our AWT we used to directly add the components to the frame, but here we are not going to do so. What we would be doing, this is a content pane, or this area is called as a content pane. All the components which we have, we are going to put into this content pane. Okay, so your JFrame is split up into 2 things, your menu bar and your content pane, and if you want to add all the components onto the frame, you are going to add it onto the content pane. Okay, now here whenever you are talking about your Swing, all the classes or all the components which are there in your Swing are being inherited by one class called as JComponent. Okay, so all the functionality or all the features which are there in your JComponent are going to be inherited by all the classes, like your JButton, your JCheckbox, your JRadio button, your JIcon, your combo boxes, your list, your text areas, your text fields. Everything is going to inherit the features whatever is there in JComponent. We are going to discuss in detail what all features are there in JComponent and how all the features are inherited by all the components which are getting extended from this class. Again, when you see this JComponent, the base class of this JComponent is again your component. Okay, and this component is nothing but your AWT component. Okay, so now if you see in the hierarchy, first comes your component, then your container, if you, in your AWT thing, okay, but if you see this J component is a class, or it is the derived class of your component class itself. There is an exception to this rule. These containers, that is your JFrame, JApplet and JDialog, all these top level containers are not getting extended from your J component. Why is that so? Because they are normal components, okay? They are top level containers. They are not as components. They are treated as only components. They are not treated as J components, okay? So these three things, or these three classes, are not derived from your J component. Rest all the classes or all the little components which you are going to use are derived from J component. Now let's see what all features your J component offers you. Ek minute yahan break. Now we would just go, this might come as a theory question which you guys are very much interested into. What are the different J component features which are present in the J component class, and all those features are inherited by the derived classes or by the subclasses, okay? So the first feature is the tooltips. Okay, now you must have seen that whenever you mouse over any icon or anything into a particular Windows application, it shows you what this icon is all about. Now just have a look that when I click, or when I am mouse overing to this, it's showing me new, okay? So this particular new thing is called as, the moment here the new was there, that particular thing is called as a tooltip. So in all the J component classes, you will have the provision of providing this particular tooltip. The second over here is paintings and borders. For each component, you can specify a particular border or a particular paint, whether the border should be blue, green, white, or it should be of one solid line or invisible line. All those things are also possible by using a J component. Then application wide pluggable look and feel. Again, we discussed that Swing is offering this particular feature of pluggable look and feel, which is there for each and every component in the Swing package. Support for layout, which means it is telling that we also give the layout managers the entire support, so that the layout managers can align them into a proper order. Support for accessibility. Again, accessibility means people who are blind and all those people, Braille scripts are supported for all these components too. Support for drag and drop. Now there are applications where you want to drag the component and put it into an area. Okay, so suppose I have got a button over here. I want to drag the button and put it at this side. I want to drag a text box and put it at this side. So whenever you are designing a component, and if you want to say that this component is a draggable component, you can do that, so that the users can drag that component and place it anywhere they want. Okay, key bindings. This is a very important thing. Now see over here, you've got file, edit, view, search, document, blah, 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 blah. Now, suppose you did not have a mouse. Okay, without mouse, you had to access this file, edit, view, search. How would you do that? With the help of keyboard. Okay, so you click on Control F. The moment I say, no, the Control F is for find over here. I don't know what is the mnemonic thing from here. Control E. Okay, but see in the browser, if we see, I'll just open up a browser and show you guys that, see, F. Look at the way F, file, view, history are written. This file F is underlined. E is underlined. Why is this so? Because the moment you click on Control F on the browser, it is going to open up this particular file thing. Okay, the moment you click on Control E or Control V, it is going to select this particular thing, which means that without using the mouse, if you want to select this particular option, then you have to press Control E. Okay, so this is, see, Control V. So P is highlighted over here. So this is nothing but setting your keys so that the moment you press the keyboard key, that particular button or that particular component is going to be acted upon just as if the mouse has clicked or the mouse has interacted with this particular component. Okay, so over here when I am talking about all these things, all these different features are available. Tool tips, I'll go through this once more. Please make a note of this because this might be asked in your papers. Tool tips, paintings and borders, application-wide pluggable look and feel, support for the layout, support for accessibility, support for drag and drop, double buffering and key bindings. These are the few features which are available in your base class and inherited by all other features. Now we are going to create a Windows application which is going to use by and far most of the components commonly used. Okay, now I am just going to launch this particular application. Okay, see, this is our Windows application. Now in this particular application which we have created using our Swing package, we have an image over here. Then we have text over here, okay, which is saying image and text. Then another text we have enter your name. Here is the text box, okay. Then we have got check boxes. 2 of them are checked, 2 of them are unchecked. Then we have got radio buttons. We have got a drop down list. Here we have a tree kind of a structure. Here we have a table, and this is nothing but a button. So all these features are there in your Windows application. Now we will see how to use these components in order to create a particular Windows application. Okay, so let me just go through this once more. Now you are seeing that the moment I am increasing this width of this particular Windows, the components are getting aligned automatically. Do you think this means that we are making use of a layout manager? Which layout manager do you think this would be? Since all the components are arranged in a flow, it is nothing but your flow layout manager. Okay, so this is an image, this is a text over here. Then again you have your text, your input box where I can input all the name. Okay, so I'm just typing over here Deepa Gano. Then I will check or uncheck these particular boxes. Again, these check boxes are nothing but multiple select. This radio button, either one of it can be selected. Okay, this is the drop down list. Then I'm clicking on rabbit, and I'm clicking on bird. Whatever I'm selecting is the selected one. Then this is a tree kind of a structure. See, this is the tree. I'll double click on this. It has got 2 options. One is Begumpet and Habsiguda. Now Habsiguda has got more things under it. It has got Office 1, Office 2 and Office 3. So we will see how this particular tree thing is laid out, and this is nothing but a table. Okay, and this table is a editable table. So if you want to write over here as singing, anything you can write. Okay, again if I want to edit something in my table, I would be editing it. And this is again a button with me. Okay, now the events which are getting generated, the event listeners over here are same as that of AWT, but the classes are, these particular component classes are a bit different. So now this is my frame. This is a J frame, guys. Okay, this is not your only frame. This is a J frame which has been taken from your Swing package. Now I'm just minimizing this particular application. Where did it go? I'm minimizing this application. I can resize it, and now the moment I'm clicking on close, it gets closed. Okay, so now let's see how did we code this application. So first and foremost, what we are going to use is, we are going to make use of our Swing package. Okay, now why are we using this AWT? Because basically all the components are from AWT, all the events and everything is coming from the AWT package, so we will definitely need this package. Okay, so here I've got my swing. Now look at this, class employee is extending from JFrame, which means my employee itself becomes the frame object, and that is why in the constructor I am writing all the details. Now the title would be employee data, same as that of frame, only there is a very little difference between frame and JFrame. Then again I am setting the bounds, okay, 100 XY coordinate, the width and the height of the component. Now set default close operation, here I have to pass a integer, okay, or a constant. Now if I say there are 4 things available over here, do nothing on close, that means the default, like it would behave as your frame. Whenever you used to click on cross of the frame, it never used to do anything. Either behave like that, define in window constants, do not do anything. Or hide on close, that means the moment I'm going to close it, it's going to hide the window. Dispose on close, which means that automatically hides this and disposes of the current application. Or exit on close, the program is going to come out of execution when you click on the close button. What I want to do, I want that the program should come out of the execution when I'm clicking on close, and that is why I have said over here, please set the default close operation as exit on close. Then after specifying the properties for a JFrame, we have got to set out the layout manager. Okay, so we are setting the layout manager as our flow layout. Now please scroll down. Okay, now what all things do you see on the screen on your employee? There was an image, okay. How do we print or how do we display images on a particular Windows application? We will do it with the help of image icon. Image icon is a class which implements your icon interface, okay. So now you are going to give the name of the file or the name of the image as well as a tagline over there, okay. So now you just cannot say, see now image icon is not a component, it is not a J component, so you cannot add onto the screen directly, okay. You have created this image icon. Now in order to display this image onto your screen, you will make use of a component called as JLabel, okay. Now you are saying JLabel image equal to new JLabel. This is the text which would appear, okay. Now you must have seen that there was a text just see here when I launch my application, there was a text over here which was saying image and text. How did it come? This has come because when we were initializing our JLabel, at that time we had specified that image and text should be given after the image. Now if you only want to display an image, make the string as null. Then specify the icon and specify in the entire JLabel where you want this particular image to be, in the center, left justified or right justified. After that we have created a normal label that is nothing but, see, labels can be in different ways. If you want to print an image, you can use your JLabel. If you want to only print the text, then also you can use your JLabel. So now here I am saying this particular JLabel is going to ask what is your name or enter your name. After that there was a text field, okay. So we are using JText field, and then by default I want 10 characters to be there entered in my text field. So the width size of my text field would be 10 characters. After that I am having my button submit. Again, if I don't want to use my mouse and if I want that keyboard events should be used, okay. If you see over here, I will just go to the application and show you guys that the moment I am going to press, see, now whenever I am having this S, it is underlined, which means that whenever I'll press Alt S, now I am using keyboard. See the mouse, I am putting it over here, and now I am using my keyboard. You would see the color of the submit being changed. That means it is being clicked. The mouse is somewhere else, but still I am able to click my submit button, and this is with the help of my keyboard. Now, how did I enable this? I enabled it using my method called as set mnemonic. You remember, if it is a J component, then you can allow your keyboard to interact with the components. Okay, so in order that my component should interact with my keyboard, I am saying that submit should have, or it should be enabled by the keyboard. And which key event I want? The moment anybody is clicking on Alt S, it's not Control S, children, it's Alt, A-L-T. The moment anybody clicks on Alt S, submit would be acting as if it has been clicked by the mouse. Now set action command is submit. What is an action command? You guys remember when we were using our buttons in our AWT, we had 3 buttons, yes, no and undefined. The moment we were clicking on any button in the event handlers, we were writing get action command, whether it is yes, whether it is no, whether it is undefined. There we did not have an option of setting anything on it. Okay, whatever was appearing on the button was being taken as an action command. But here in your JFrame or here in your string package, whatever action command you want to set, you can do that. Then again, we have got these checkboxes. Okay, how checkbox, chin button, chin. Again, I am saying that I allow even the keyboard to interact with it. And if I want that these checkboxes should be pre-selected, then I am saying it as, setting it as true. Set selected, yes. Chin and glass button should be set selected as true. Okay, so whenever my application is getting launched, at that particular time, my chin button and my glass button are pre-selected. Okay, so just look at this. Chin and glasses are pre-selected, whereas hair and teeth are not. So when your hair is there, I am saying set selected as false. You don't have to specify this. Even if you are not specifying, by default it takes it as false only. Now again you have radio buttons. In frame, we did not have a concept of radio button at all. We just had a check and a check group. Whereas in your swing, you have your radio buttons. Okay, the first radio button, the bird button, I am selecting it as true. Now, in radio buttons also, you can have multiple selection. But if you want that there should be only single selection with your radio button, then you have to bind all these buttons to a button group. Okay, so what am I going to do? If I want only a single selection of this particular radio things, then I'm going to group the radio buttons. And that's why I'm going to use a button group over here. I'm saying button group. And then I'm adding all the buttons, all the radio buttons to the group. Okay, suppose if I comment this application. Okay, I'm just commenting this to show you guys. Where is it? Just commenting it to show you guys that if there is no button group, then what would happen? Okay, I'm saving this application. So now when I have changed or when I have commented my button group, see, I can make multiple selection even using these radio buttons. But the moment I am enabling this particular button group, what is happening? It is mutual exclusion. Okay, see over here, I am able to select only one if there is a button group. If there is no button group, then I am able to select multiple. Okay, after that comes our drop down box. Okay, that means in the pop-up list, you remember we had a drop down thing. So here, in order to populate our combo box, first of all we have got to create a string. So I have created a string, you have got to create an array. I have created an array of string which I have got bird, cat, dog, rabbit, pig. Okay, so whenever you are initializing or whenever you are creating this combo box, at that time you are supposed to pass this array to the combo box constructor. Okay, so whenever this combo box list is getting displayed, at that particular time your array would be rendered. Now here the array starts from bird, cat, dog, rabbit, pig, but I am saying that at the time of launching it, I want the index to be set as 4. That means 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So when my application is getting launched, I would be able to see the pig. So here, by using this particular method, so when the application is launched, at that time you would see the pre-selected thing is nothing but the pig. Okay, if we would not have used this method called as set selected index, then the first one, which is nothing but the bird, it would have been the pre-selected item. Now let's go on to the next component which we have over here called as tree. Okay, so here we have got a tree kind of a structure. Now you would see that in any of your Windows application, you have got this particular tree kind of a structure. See, over here I have got my C drive. Okay, under my C drive I have got documents and settings and blah blah blah, all these folders. Okay, then I have got one more folder which has got many folders in it called as program files, because here it's showing you the plus icon. The moment I click on this, again this would be listed. Now how to have this particular tree kind of a structure in our Windows application? In order to create a tree, first of all you should be able to create nodes, okay, which is called as the tree nodes. Here now when I click on Hyderabad, see all these things, that is Office 1, Office 2, Office 3, Habsiguda, Begumpet, Hyderabad itself, all these are nothing but called as nodes. This is the root node, this is the child node, this is the parent node, this is the parent node, and this is nothing but the child node. But at the end of it, all of them are called as nodes. And that is the reason, first of all, just create the tree structure in your mind. What all nodes do you want to have? Okay, and after that create all these nodes. Office 1, Office 2, Office 3, Habsiguda, Hyderabad, Begumpet. Now comes your real task, as in you want that Office 1, Office 2 and Office 3 should go in Habsiguda. Now which node is Habsiguda? It is D4. Okay, so in D4 you are going to add D1, D2 and D3. That means in Habsiguda I am adding Office 1, Office 2 and Office 3. Now I want to add Habsiguda and Begumpet, these two nodes under Hyderabad. So what am I going to do? I am going to make use of this D5 and I am going to add D6, that is nothing but Begumpet, as well as D4, that is nothing but Habsiguda under D5. So I am going to say D5.add D4, D5.add D6. Okay, so that's what I have done over here. Now what I want to do is I want to create a tree model. These are nothing but nodes. Okay, so nodes will be created using your default mutable tree node. Then I am going to create a default tree model where I am going to give the root node to it. Okay, and finally I am going to make use of my J tree. Whenever you create a J tree, the constructor of the J tree is asking for a default tree model. That means the constructor of the J tree is asking for the root node, which is our root node DTM. Okay, so we are passing this particular root node, and this root node is given to the J tree. J tree will go through all the nodes and it will come to know which is the parent, which is the child and which is the root node, and according to it, it's going to render all the tree nodes. Okay, just over here. Begumpet, Hapsiguda. To all the parents, it's going to show this kind of a thing. To a particular root folder, it's going to show this kind of a structure. Okay. Now the last one which we have is nothing but our table. How to make use of the table. Now whenever you are creating table, you would want that even the data should be entered into a particular table. Now whenever you are talking about a table, if you go to see over here, okay, first of all, any table has got, when I am talking about table, I have got table into rows and columns, okay. So if you must have even saw an Excel sheet, when you're preparing your Excel sheets, you've got tables, rows and columns. Now here you give the heading. What is this? Whether this is name, roll number, blah, 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 blah. And here in the rows, you're going to enter the data. So this particular first thing, okay, the first row, which is going to tell you what this particular data is all about. The metadata of your table is nothing but the first row, okay. So first of all, you would have to create a string array, okay, just like my column names over here. First name, last name, sports, number of years, whether you are a vegetarian or whether you are not a vegetarian, okay. So this particular thing which we have, this is nothing but telling you the metadata about that table, okay. And secondly, I am creating an array of 2 dimensions, okay, that is nothing but the rows and the columns, and there I am filling up all the data. So whenever I create a J table, okay, whenever I am creating a J table, the first constructor, also the first parameter would be the metadata, and the second parameter would be the actual data which you are supposed to specify, and there goes my table. Now I have created all these components, but I have not added them onto my screen. How do I add them? Now see, whenever you are making use of a J frame, you directly cannot add it onto a frame. You have to add it onto the content pane. And that is the reason every time whenever I want to add a component, I am going to ask for get content pane. I'll get the content pane object. On that object I am calling add image, name, these all the objects which we have created so far, we have added them, and lastly we are setting the JFrame visible as true, okay. So please go through this particular program. It contains all the components which are mentioned in your syllabus, okay. That would be all for today. Thank you and have a good day.